Right then, everybody, it's about that time of the night. I think it's officially 7:31-ish. So let's get our logo up, get things underway. Welcome to you. Welcome if you're a first-time attendee. Welcome if you're a regular. We had a great weekend. I hope everyone had the same sort of golden weekend that we achieved. And we helped a number of people. I know that Mr. Duck is smiling from one end of his ears to the other. He's had a great weekend and day today. Mr. McCloskey, I know that I did happen to see you swanning about down the Gold Coast a time or two. Great work, everybody. So let's get into this. Here's our Brains Trust. We do our really level best to actually communicate with everybody around the place about what we're doing. And those people there put most of the effort into which direction we go with the webinars, etc. So they're all available for comments if you have questions, etc. So let's get going. We are sponsored by Skippy Pest Control, Easy Shopping Cards, and Loveday Vehicle Lubricants, all of whom are becoming merchants. So make sure that you understand the power of the K Merchant program. There's more information coming out regularly. We're trying to get details on a couple of things, but it's going to be very, very powerful. And let's just get this out of the way. This is our opinion. This is not official company policy. So if I make a claim that you think isn't accurate, please go and do your own research and make sure that you work out where I got that harebrained idea from. Okay, gold is a 5,000-year-old medium of exchange. I can't remember where your script starts, Miss Kate, so you want to unmute yourself?
Yep.
There you are.
So my script starts at option 1.
Good, okay. So is there anything else in the world that can give you a 5,000-year-old system? And that coin you see on the screen there was minted in about 541 BC, and it buys today the same thing or things that it did 2,500 years ago. You can't do that with Australian dollars. Karatbars is an e-commerce affiliate program. It's the world leader in the supply of small gold amounts to individuals. And it's facilitated by a unique cryptocurrency which is supported by and linked to the gold. This creates a unique self-sustaining financial system that is completely powered by gold. And now Miss Kate is going to run us through the script.
Okay, so our Karatbars overview. Option 1, we save gold. So we all start here. We complete our free registration for our gold savings account, and we start acquiring our Karatbars gold in small increments. Karatbars International has made it easy by making available a feature called Auto Exchange. At Wealth Builders Worldwide, we call that Pay Yourself First. You set up your account to automatically exchange your paper currency for Karatbars gold weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. You simply set it, forget it, and then go back and increase it. Activating this feature allows you to automatically pay yourself first with physical gold. There are no fees of any kind. The account is completely free and takes less than 5 minutes to register. Every time you acquire Karatbars gold, you're building your family's wealth. Option 2, save and earn. As an independent affiliate, when you save gold for yourself and share with others how to do the same, you position yourself to be compensated monthly through our uni-level system compensation plan. You're virtually in business for yourself in over 100 countries worldwide. Option 3, maximise your earning potential. You may choose one of several business packages which position you to generate cash flow monthly and weekly through our dual system compensation plan. These packages are income producing assets. Option 4, We save carat gold coin and carat coin bank coin. As independent affiliates, while we're saving gold and maximising our earning potential, we acquire carat gold coin, KBC, and carat coin bank coin, KCB. These cryptocurrency coins are an additional stream of income that will build massive wealth. So some people have asked, why carat bars? A carat bar saving account gives you protection against future financial crisis and rapid inflation. It protects your hard-earned paper currency with physical gold. Carat Bars International has the only system in the world where you can get free gold and free cryptocurrency. Back to you.
Thank you, Miss Kate. This is what we're here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not get too carried away about the technicalities of it. We're going to put some information on this webinar tonight that is extraordinarily confronting. But it comes down to what it is that we have in our wallet. I'm familiar with those $20 bills. I don't see many of them these days because mostly it's electronic. But in 1999, I could buy more with a $20 bill than I can in 2019. And yes, that graphic is a little bit exaggerated, but here's the real figure. Average inflation rate of 2.2%, which is effectively nothing, means that your money has lost 54% of its value in that 20-year period. That's awful. But if you go back to gold, you can see that a kilo of gold in 1920 buys you the same as it did in 2019. They're the same. And it's because gold maintains its value. Here's a graph that shows the gold standard against the three major currencies in the world. That is extraordinary. There is no way that you can look at that graph and think that everything that you do on a day-to-day basis is okay if you don't have gold. Because that tells you that you're going to end up with nothing. And if you think, oh, don't you worry, I'm going to save well, that's what happens if you save well. From 1913 to 2008, you can see as the money is printed, the savings devalue. And if you look at what's happening in the world today, the US Fed is pumping out $1.4 billion a month. That's printing press chewing it out. That's a staggering amount of money. And I listened to a podcast this afternoon where they challenged that formula and said, how is it possible that the Fed can think that's okay? Interest rates are so low they can't go down anymore. There's no activity in the economy. Savings isn't working. How are they going to deal with that? What's the next thing that comes along to save the Fed? And I keep talking about the US because it's the easiest one to get information on. But there's some Australian information coming tonight. So here's our milestones. This company has been really good at hitting their milestones until they announced an IPO. Now that changes everything. If you've been around companies that go down the initial public offering road, you'll understand how difficult that is to do and the impost it is inside the company to make it happen. Some years ago, I ran a public company. The minute they said we're going to IPO, I went and found someone to take my job over because I did not want to be involved in that. It was an enormous impost. So come January, our coins are exchangeable at a better value. There is a roadmap to get the coin exchange to 1 coin per gram by 2023. I suspect that the IPO will possibly hasten that roadmap, but that's just my opinion. And I think when I see what's happening in the market just today, you'll understand why I think it's going to accelerate it. So there's three major benefits. You can start saving in physical gold. It puts you in a position to build a global business from home. That's pretty powerful. And there are significant tax advantages. If you have a job today and you start a Carat Bars business, you can make it a tax-deductible operation. Now, you still got to play within the rules and do all that sort of stuff, but there are significant tax advantages in having a home-based business. So how do we do this? Okay, first of all, you've got to talk to someone if you want to accelerate it. You can do this business absolutely on your own. No question about that. But if you want to ramp up the income, you need to talk to some people. Do you believe in saving money for the future? Simple question, yes or no. If they say no, walk away. Save yourself. If they say yes, then you've got some more questions you can give them. The question automatically is, have you started to save in gold? And 99% of people are going to say no, but we all understand the power of gold. That's very important. If I could show you how to earn free gold, would you like to learn more? What else do you need to know? Why Carat Bars? Well, it's an e-commerce business. It's an asset building system. It's the world leader in this environment. You can get free gold and free cryptocurrency. I know that's true because I did it. I didn't know what I was doing. I just ran off in a direction, and next thing I know, I got a free upgrade to silver. That was coins and gold. And then I got an upgrade to gold. That was more coins, more gold. Then I got an upgrade to VIP. That was more coins, more gold. Love it. And it lets you exchange the money you currently have into an environment, into an asset that does not devalue. These are the sort of assets you can ascertain your future wealth with. On the right, you've got 1 gram to 5 gram cards, branded cards, specialty cards, cash gold cards. You can buy gold any way from Sunday in this business. Now, next I've got a little video that I'd like you to watch. The guy speaks very quickly, so he's sometimes hard to understand, but you can read the subtitles that they put up on the screen. And this is a prediction of what this analyst thinks will happen with currencies worldwide.
So you have a $10,000 price target for gold.
Yes.
Can you tell me what your thesis is for that?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand it's not a made-up number or a number I throw out there just to get attention. It's actually the implied non-deflationary price of gold in a system where you have either a gold standard or some reference to gold. Now, there's not a central bank in the world that wants a gold standard, but they may have to go to it, not because they want to, but because they have to, just to restore confidence in some kind of future financial crisis. The problem right now is central banks have not normalized their balance sheet since 2009. They're trying, but they're nowhere close. If you had another crisis tomorrow and you had to, do QE4, QE5, how could you do that when you're already at $4 trillion? They might have to turn to the IMF for SDRs. They might have to turn to gold. So then, if you go back to a gold standard, you have to get the price right. People say there's not enough gold to support a gold standard. Well, that's nonsense. There's always enough gold. It's a question of price. So take Japan, Europe, China, and the U.S. The big four. Also Japan. So the big four economies. Their M1 is approximately $24 trillion. If you had 40% gold backing, that would be $9.6 trillion. There's about 33,000 tons of official gold in the world. So you just divide 9.6 trillion by 33,000 tons, and what you get is about $10,000 an ounce. If you had a gold standard with a lower price, that would be deflationary. You'd have to reduce the money supply. That was the mistake that was made in 1925. It did contribute to the Great Depression. It wasn't because of gold, it was because they got the price wrong. So to have a gold standard today and not cause another depression, you'd have to have a price of around $10,000 an ounce.
Wow, and so that would be a really big crisis, disaster scenario.
Sure, but look at, we've had them with regularity. You know, 1987, stock market falls 22% in one day. That would be the equivalent of over 4,000 Dow points. You know, if the Dow went down 400 points, it would be all anyone would talk about. Imagine going down 4,000 points. That's, in percentage terms, that's what happened in 1987. 1994, Mexican tequila crisis. 1997, 98, Asia, Russia, long-term capital management. 2000, the dot-com bubble. 2007, mortgages. 2008, Lehman, AIG. So these things happen with some regularity. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but we shouldn't be surprised if it does. And what I was covering in my book, The Road to Ruin, is let's say it does happen tomorrow or sometime soon, 2018. What's the response function? Because again, central banks, in 98, Wall Street bailed out a hedge fund. In 2008, the central banks bailed out Wall Street. In 2018, who's going to bail out the central banks?
Now, did you get all that? This is why you need to have gold. Get in touch with your recommender tomorrow and buy some more gold. The Perth Mint prices today, and there's the link, I looked it up, it's at $2,255 an ounce. That video just pointed out that it's likely to go to $14,658 an ounce. That's a 7 times increase. Anyone want to argue that point? I don't think so. Because
yeah, I do, because he's speaking US dollars, Eric.
Yeah, but they're Australian dollars.
Jim Richards. Oh,
Yeah.
He is, happy days.
Yeah, he's talking about 10,000 US an ounce. That's 14,000. I did the quick conversion, thumbnail dipped in tar. So that analyst watches the gold market closely. His focus is not gold. His focus is in what the governments have done wrong since World War II in the management of economies. And he's talked about a number of times and different things, what's going to happen if there's a disaster. As he said in the video, Wall Street bailed out the banks. The government, the US Fed, bailed out Wall Street. Who's going to bail out the Fed? Now, that's just the United States. And if you look at how they have sustained their economies in the last few years, they've been printing money. Now, everywhere else in the world, you call that counterfeit. They've been printing money to buy their own bonds. Let me say that again. They've been printing money with quantitative easing to buy their own government bonds. That's pretty confronting if you try and do the maths on what that outcome is going to be. We don't need to worry about that. We already know. We have a program. We have a roadmap called gold. This is what Ainsley Bullion published just in February 2018. This is the bail-in law. How safe is your cash in the bank? This is Australia, not Nigeria. We're not talking about South Sudan in a war zone, or I'm making that up. Obviously, South Sudan isn't at the moment. But we're talking about Australia. This, notice it says .com.au. The legislation allows our banking regulator, APRA, crisis powers to secretly step in and run distressed banks. It allows APRA then to confiscate and write off certain types of bonds and hybrid securities, and allows them to confiscate cash savings of SMSFs, self-managed super funds. Confiscate cash savings of SMSFs. Now, in other countries, they specifically include the confiscation of depositors' funds, the savings accounts. But in Australia, they just cleverly didn't mention it, didn't exclude it, Didn't say anything about it. Does that scare anybody else? This means that anytime it feels like the banks are threatened, the government can step in and seize your accounts. Now, some of you are going to say, that's outrageous, that's not likely to happen. It happened in Greece. People went to bed with 600,000 euros in their account, woke up the next morning, and the most they could withdraw from a bank was 60 euros per day. See how your lifestyle changes when that happens. So we're already on the road to economic turmoil. Now, this is a snippet that I took out of a Reuters post. Russia's largest oil company, Rosneft, has fully switched the currency of its contracts to euros from US dollars in a move to shield its transactions from US sanctions. So the US is imposing sanctions on Russia and China, and their answer to that is, don't care. We're just going to start using another currency. Does anyone know what happened when the last two countries did that? Has anyone got a clue what happened? Anybody want to comment? That's right, Mr. McCloskey, there was a war. Both the countries that did it were invaded by the US. Now, do I think that America is going to invade Russia? I would think not. But there is going to be some enormous tensions. China has already attempted to back their currency with a gold standard, sort of. They're moving away from the US dollar. And since 1945 or 7 in that area, the US dollar has been the backup to every currency in the world. And now that's failing. So we are headed for absolute economic turmoil. So how safe is your money really? So get in touch with your recommender if you need help and buy some more gold tomorrow. I will be ordering more gold in the morning. I ordered 2 grams last week. I think I might up my order to 5. So how do you start with this program? Register a free account, purchase a pack, upload your documents. It's really, really important that you do that. And invite some others with your referral link. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. Some tips about that. Pay for the pack with cash gold. If you have time, pay by bank transfer. But buy the cash gold first, then purchase the pack. You don't need to pay by bank transfer. If you're in a hurry, just buy the cash gold with your credit card. But here's the difference it makes. In the same space of time, the group at the top bought over 2 kilos of gold in the same time that the next one down bought 243 grams. The group at the top were paying for their packs with cash gold. It makes a massive difference. And what does that mean? What does it add up to? Well, it adds up to the car and the house and lots of other little goodies. So they're just a free by the by. You need to set up Carrot Pay to make sure that you can buy the cash gold and put it into your wallet. This quick starts the incentive ladder, the long-term incentive ladder. And it does, in fact, shortcut everything you're doing towards getting the free house and the free cars. Fast start, join as a bronze, register 5 in 5 weeks, you get a free upgrade to silver. Start your new person with cash gold. Soon as they've registered and got a pack, show them how to purchase 5 by 0.1. Doesn't cost them very much money. It's really easy to do. And once they've done 5 one at a time, they'll remember how to buy the gold. Now, we want to talk about some incentive winners. This is a similar incentive to what they had for the Amsterdam incentive, but I can tell you that the rewards in this incentive program are much better than they had for Amsterdam. So here's a shout out to some people that are on the list already. This has only been running for a couple of weeks. I might not even be that. Mr. Graham Duck, Sir Geoffrey Wilkin, Ernie Clare, Carolyn Phillips, Tom Rees, all have qualified for a bronze pack. That's 2,142 coins and 0.2 grams of gold. Free cryptocurrency, free gold. Tom, are you on the call? Don't know if I haven't noticed you're on the call. Tom is a young man that's just getting started, got the bug, saw how it worked, and he's after it. He will get an upgrade on the next level. I'm guaranteeing you. The silver pack, Mr. Jeff Cooper. The pink-haired man himself, 12,321 coins and 2.1 grams of gold. That's not a bad handshake for coming to church on a Sunday. Watch these people because they're going to work their way through these packs as they go along. And in the gold pack, I don't know who that bloke is, but then there's Mitch Tafe, Jenny Loveday. 30,357 coins and 4.3 grams of gold. That's a serious amount of gold. It's a serious amount of coins. Who's going to be the first one to get a VIP pack? Because on this incentive, the VIP pack is 60,000 coins and 8.7 grams of gold. 60,000 coins in a few years. When these coins get to be 1 coin per gram, that's 60 kilos of gold. That's a serious amount. But it's not to be sneezed at in anybody's language. So, good luck, everybody. Great to see. Let's just keep hammering this. This is a great way to add a bunch of coins and gold to your wallet. The deal of the month is still the cash exchange machine. It is an amazing way. If you've got the ability, if you've got some money in your super fund and you want to know how to do it, send us an email. We'll put you in touch with somebody. It is, without doubt, the way to change your life. Absolutely, without doubt, the way to change your life. And I just noticed Mr. Duck put up there, it was 1946 Bretton Woods Agreement. Yep, lots of info about that on Google. Thanks, Graham. This quote I've used before, but I loved it, so I thought I've got to leave this in. Sales are contingent upon the attitude of the salesman, not the attitude of the prospect. How cool is that? Doesn't that actually tell you what the state of our business is today? So this is gold, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely the way to fortify your bank balance, the way to secure your financial future and your families. There is no other way to describe it. I got on YouTube today, I was looking for that Rickard's commentary, and I must have found 500 podcasts, all of them talking doom and gloom about how bad things are going to be because the central banks can no longer do enough to keep the economies going. And if you all think back to the Asian financial crisis, the central banks in Asia wanted to do what the central banks now are doing, and they were prohibited from doing that by the World Bank and by the United Nations. They were told you can't do that. Well, the Asian countries have actually recovered quite reasonably. We have never recovered from that because our banks have just continued to do that. And it's all about the regulatory control of things like the financial instruments that they create that have no backing, and yet they become somehow a tradable entity. They call them derivatives. And it's a derivative of a bond that's a derivative of a mortgage that's a derivative of a loan. At the end of the day, what you've got is a piece of paper. It's worthless. But they find a way to make that a tradable entity. What we have today, ladies and gentlemen, is a rock-solid, gold-based payment system. And you can end up with a lot of this gold in your pocket. There will be people that are on this call tonight that in January will be multi-millionaires because of this business. I am not making that up. I've seen it happen. I'm observing the number of coins that are going into people's accounts. There are multiple people on this call tonight that come January will be multi-millionaires. That is an outcome we should all be proud of. Everybody that's on this call tonight has the ability in the next month or so to make a substantial difference to their financial situation. I'm not going to slow down. I want to be one of those people in January that becomes a multimillionaire. People that I've connected into this business have already gone way past me
Nice audio.
with their financial system because they've followed the rules. They found the chink in the armor of this business and have followed it. Okay, here's some dates. December in Perth, Brisbane, Echuca and Melbourne. Please book a ticket. We want to fill these places up as quickly as we can. At the moment I'm toying with getting to Melbourne. I'll have to have a talk with a few of the people down there about whether we can fit it in. But I will be here in December. Please make sure you can get to one of these events. You will get to meet Nitsa, Sean Maloney, Joel, Mira, Jeanette, people that have a history in this business. Well worth the time and effort, and for $25 or $35, whatever it is, well worth it. So Adelaide coming up, Friday the 8th of November at the Cooper's Ale House at a place called Gepps Cross. Now there's some interesting questions that come out of that. It's the Cooper's Ale House. Mr. Seravalli found this place, and it's at a place called Gepps Cross. Not quite sure where they came up with that name, but anyway, they're from South Australia, so we won't hold that against them. You can get tickets. I've got the Stars Mastery link there. The Stars Mastery website is moving, so if you have a problem getting a ticket there, send me an email to go to the top now at gmail.com and I will send you the link directly. We didn't plan on moving the website in the middle of all this, but that's just how it happened. And June next year, we are having a major event on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland. So please put that in your diaries. We're working with the facility now to get that sorted. And there will be very limited seating, so you're going to need to get those tickets right quick. And by June next year, you'll be able to use your coins and your gold to pay for it all. How cool is that? Okay, and Roger's saying maybe Brian Cromley could be here in December. Okay, Rog, who is Brian Cromley when he's at home? I'm figuring he's somebody of some importance or someone that we should know. Good bloke. Nitz's number one man. Okay, cool. Very good. These people will be well worth your time to just come and talk to. It's the little things that you get in the midst of 2 or 3 beers, wines, waters, whatever it is that you do. That's where the magic happens. Mr. Brent,
You
did you
there,
do
Derek?
that on purpose?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to add to who is Brian Cromley. Roger and I met the gentleman in Dubai, and he's in Nitsa Narcos's team, and he at the time when he first met Nitsa, and she actually confronted him about this business, or told him about it. He was on the streets, right? The guy was living in a tent. And Roger and I went over and had a word to him. You're not going to meet a nicer bloke. And all he wanted to do was answer any questions we had about how we could be successful in this business. So he in 5 years is, if you've seen the Mercedes Benz qualifications, he's right behind Nitsa in the qualifications for that. So that's who Brian Crumley is. He was a guy on the streets and just worked really hard. And he's a very, very wealthy man and a wonderful guy. Had a lot of fun, but like you say, you get around these people and have a drink with them later or whatever, and the little gold nuggets you pick up from these live events, and we know that ourselves, don't we, from what's happened already, is it's priceless. Anyway, I just wanted to add that, mate.
Thanks, Brent. Yes, that is exactly what happens. It's the little nuggets that you pick up. That's where the magic happens. And I've learnt that in numerous businesses over the years. It's the little things that come out of a meeting. A couple of years ago, I was up the Sunshine Coast. There was 5 or 6 of us sitting around on a balcony, possibly having a couple of drinks. And one of them said something that triggered in somebody else an idea that by the time the night was over, there was an entire new business model came out of that sitting on the balcony. It was amazing to watch. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight. Is there anybody that's got any other questions? Jeff Cooper, with the new Impulse phone, what are total monthly costs and do the costs include calls? Short answer is we don't know for sure, Jeff. But if you want to make a call to a regular phone, a 4G phone, you need a SIM card in it, and it'll be whatever that plan is. My understanding of the rest of it is that the cost will be about €6 or $6 a month, which you can pay with KBC. So is it a possible? Yes, Wal, it is possible. They will be on the Gold Rocks YouTube channel. So I'll actually put a link in. That's a good question. I'll put a link in to the YouTube channel because at the moment it's not a named YouTube channel. We've got to create a link for it. And given that we're moving the websites all over the place, those links work on and off as the guys are moving bits of the websites. But I'll send out an email with the link to this webinar tonight in it for everybody. Wal, have you got another question? You had a question about units. You can unmute yourself if you want to talk, if you have a microphone. There he is.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Wal.
Yeah, mate. Look, I just wanted to get an understanding of that spreadsheet. When they say units, what do they mean by units? What's a unit?
Units are units of turnover. So how it actually works is everybody in this business is pushed into 2 teams. Now, they don't have to be connected to each other. It's just as people register, they're moved into 2 teams. And anytime there's 50 units of turnover in one team and 25 in another, that creates what's called a cycle. The amount of money you get paid for that cycle is dependent on the level that you joined at or the level you've attained with upgrades. So a bronze pack, they get €40 per cycle. Silver is 50, gold is 60, and VIP is €80 per cycle. Again, it doesn't matter who creates the turnover. They don't have to be in your team, but if they're in your dual team, they don't have to be registered by you. But if they're in your dual team and you have a pack, you capture those units. Does that answer your question? I must have done a really good job on that.
Sorry, I'll turn the bloody mic off again. Look, yeah, it's okay. I'm just getting my head around this thing, but it'll be right.
Okay, that's all right. If you want to do a Zoom call later and I can actually show you how it works, we can do that. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how do you do that.
If you type in your email, yep, send me an email to go to the top now. I'll put my email address up here. At gmail.com. Go to the top now at gmail.com. If you send me an email to that, I'll send you back a link and I'll step you through step by step on how that works. Unless there's anyone else on the call that wants to know about how those units work. No hands up. Okay, yep, send me an email, Walt, and I'll send you back a link in a few minutes and I'll run you through that and show you how they work. They're a great thing because they don't go away and it doesn't matter who creates them, you get paid for them. Excellent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending. We have a great time doing these webinars. Carolyn's away tonight at a function. Apparently, I don't look good enough to get to some of these functions, so she's got to go on her own to some of them. And I get to stay here and talk to the team. So great, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We hope that you've enjoyed being with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on the golden beaches of the world.